Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I'm Gift Ogete. Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina has clarified his comments on negotiations with Boko Haram. He said in a brief statement that he only pointed out that the government would only be negotiating with the insurgents from the position of strength if they opted for it. This Adesina noted is because the stage has been set for an all-out assault that would devastate and decapitate insurgency in the country. The presidential spokesman argued that his principle resolute to stem the tide of Boko Haram. He maintained that having battled and won insurgency before, Buhari is poised to win again, in line with his promise to Nigerians. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has urged Nigerians to continue supporting and praying for his successor, President Muhammadu Buhari, as terrorist activities intensify. Jonathan said this on his official Facebook page on Sunday while reacting to the church bombing in Yobe, which left over 6 people dead. The former president, who has been silent for several weeks, said the Sunday attack was a sad reminder that the war against terror is a task for Nigerians and not only the armed forces. The death of any Nigerian at the hands of terrorists is a sad reminder that the war on terror is a task for all. A member of the House of Representatives, Linus Okorie, has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to redeem his reputation by abiding by the federal character principle in making subsequent appointments. Okorie, who made this known while speaking to newsmen in Abuja in an interview, explained that the few appointments so far made by the president shows little or no regard to the constitutional principle of federal character. He also described as worrisome statements made by members of the ruling All Progressives Congress, which seem to encourage a disregard for this principle, which has helped to keep Nigeria one. Okorie quoted a leading member of the ruling APC as saying that the federal character principle, as embedded in the 1999 Constitution as amended, is not just, and as such, it has no legal consequence. He also quoted his colleague as saying the provision as contained in Section 14 of the Constitution is only applicable to appointments in federal ministries. Okorie noted that as President of the Federal Republic, who is opportune to be at the helm of affairs at this point in our nation's history, Buhari owes it a duty to give all segments of Nigeria a sense of belonging. The Ogun State, as insurgents of the terror group Boko Haram continue with a campaign of violence and bloodletting, the federal government has been urged to adapt its tactics in fighting the insurgents in a proactive manner. Two public affairs analysts gave this advice in a chat with CoreTV News. Details of this report from our studios.
The face of Abubakar Shekau is one that has brought the campaign of violence by the terror group Boko Haram to the living room of most Nigerians with his regular videos. Recently, the terror group released a video with the group's leader conspicuously absent. And with the recent upsurge in suicide bombings and the resort to hit-and-run attacks by the group, many Nigerians wonder if the recently announced link with the Islamic State is not leading to a change in tactics to the unprecedented violence being perpetrated by the ISIS in Syria and Iraq. For these public affairs analysts Alester Wilcox and Olade Rio, the subsequent scaling up of suicide bombings are a reflection of a change of style which should be expected.
In a war situation, you consistently must look at your strategies, review, and when necessary, you remedy things. And in doing that, there may be changes here and there. So that could have been their reason.
They are now confronting a new government that is more determined and that is more focused and more determined in eliminating them. So they also have to re-strategize and bring in maybe somebody. You know, Shekau seems to be crude, raw in the way he addresses the media and everything. But this other guy is brought in so that he can, then the Shekau can take the back seat.
They remember that lately they were losing out. So they could do that as a kind of repositioning. Okay, and then they take, because they have tried to tie up with ISIS now, they wanted to take on a global image. That could be their reason for doing that.
However, the question on the lips of many is what next now? that the Boko Haram seems to be changing tactics.
We shouldn't bother about ourselves who is talking to us or who is doing what, but we should bother ourselves as to what is the response of the government, what is the response of Nigerians, and how are we, in the shortest possible time, going to eliminate this nightmare.
If government can rejig the intelligence framework by buying the confidence of the locals, of the people and the community.
So our intelligence community must up their ante so that we become a step ahead of them, so that before they try anything, you're already aware and you nip it in the bud.
Nobody can sit anywhere and tell you this is when this will come to an end.
The Ogun State Police Command has issued a warning to the residents of the state, particularly against patronizing illegal or unapproved parks within the state. The command said this became necessary due to some intelligence and concluded investigation reports of some cases of raped, armed robbery and missing persons reported to the police in the state. The police command says it has been able to deduce from its reports that there is a strong link between some of these crimes and the patronage of these unapproved parks, particularly those individuals who are fond of getting free ride by the roadside or looking for cheap ride along the road. The command ordered that it had recently arrested and investigated some rapists who have confessed to the police some of the tricks of picking people by the roadside, raping and robbing them of their belongings. The Kano state government has described as false reports in some national dailies and online media that Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has banned Christians residents in the state from going to church on Sundays. The state's Commissioner for Information, Mohammed Gaba, who made the remark while briefing newsmen in Kano, said the report was false and unfounded. He said the state government is very much aware and mindful of the freedom of religion as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Gaba then called on journalists to always check facts and balance their stories and reports with high sense of fairness and responsibility. He said the government extended the monthly sanitation exercise up to Sunday, but only for the staff of the Refuse Management Board to enable them clear up the heap of refuse in the state. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, you don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome back. Now, do not forget that for more information on CoreTV News, you can reach us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV News. Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has dissolved the 17 local government councils in the state. In a statement issued by the Secretary to the State Government, Rufus Bature, on Monday, the dissolution is an exercise of the powers conferred on the governor by the Constitution. Governor Lalong also directed the local council chairman, councillors, and other political appointees to hand over all government property in their care to directors of personnel management in the councils. The statement went further to charge security operatives in various local governments, and particularly the division police officers and members of the various labor unions, to ensure that all government property are secured in the custody of the DPMS. Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasser El-Rufai debunked claims by his predecessor, Mokta that he left behind 8 billion naira in the state's treasury. The governor was reacting to claims by the former deputy governor Nuhu Bajoga at a reception organized for him at the Southern Kaduna People's Democratic Party that the immediate past administration in the state left 8 billion naira for the current All Progressives Congress administration. Speaking through his special assistant on media and publicity, Samuel Arua, the governor said the Yero's government left behind 8 billion naira counterpart fund and not working money capital was claimed by Bajoga. The Rufai spokesman stated at the press conference held at the Sakashim Ibrahim House, Kaduna, on Sunday. The senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Dino Melaye, alleged that a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had decided to offer support for Senator Smart Adeyemi, who is currently challenging his electoral victory at the Court of Appeal. Melaye, an APC senator, told journalists in Abuja that Tinubu had contacted the immediate past Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Mohammed Bello Adoke San, to take over the legal battle on behalf of Adeyemi. He also said that Adeyemi, on the request of Tinubu, had forwarded details of the suit to Adoke, asking him to look for a judge in the Court of Appeal that would offer assistance. But Tinubu, in his reaction, had asked Melaye to look elsewhere for people to blackmail. However, the tribunal had dismissed the petition filed by a former chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists and former chairman, Senate Committee on FCT, Adeyemi, because his lawyers filed their defense too late. Delivering judgment in the suit, chairman of the three-member tribunal, Justice Akun Ikpeme, described the petition by Adeyemi, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, as incurably defective. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities has disagreed with the National Universities Commission over the federal government's plan to stop funding university staff school workers' salaries from the National Treasury. The association, which described the plan as a threat to 2,000 jobs within the staff school, said the move negates the President Buhari's led administration's philosophy to create 3 million new jobs. And the joint protest, which attracted SANU members from the University of Calabar, University of Uyo, and the Cross River University of Technology. The national president of the association, Samson Ugboke, said members would resist any ploy by the government that contradicts an earlier agreement with the union in 2009. In a protest later delivered to the Vice Chancellor, University of Calabar, Professor James Ekboke, SANU accused NUC, the National Salaries, the Wages Commission, and the Federal Ministry of Education of bias. Ugwoke had condemned and rejected NUC's insinuation that university staff school ought to be funded by the internally generated revenue of the respective institutions. The National Human Rights Commission has received a petition from Aruago community in Kwara State over alleged murder, brutality, intimidation, unlawful arrest and detention of its members by the Nigeria police. The petition, which was submitted in Abuja on Monday, accused the police of storming the community on June 12 and cursing the murder of a community member, Balatito Balogun, and bodily injury to several others, including Tokwe Alugemo, who was reportedly lying critical in the hospital. President of Aruago Development Union, Richard Olushala, accused the police of taking sides with the Fulani, who allegedly precipitated the crisis, leading to a feud between cattle herders and farmers in the community. He further alleged that 9 people arrested in April and June were languishing in police custody in Abuja without pressing any charges against them in court. He further described the incident as a calculated violation of rights and privileges which began in April this year. Kaduna State Police Command said it has arraigned 115 street gang members, locally known as Yon Sarasuka, for allegedly terrorizing communities in the state. Announcing this on Monday, the command's spokesman, Zabiru Abubakar, said the arraignment followed massive raids of the gang's hideouts across the state, facilitated by the cooperation of communities, especially in areas such as Rigasa. Abubakar said 38 of those arraigned before various courts were facing charges of criminal conspiracy and terrorism, 32 for possession of hard drugs and 45 for terrorism and culpable homicide. Governor Nasir El-Rufai has recently directed the police to read the state of terror gangs that has killed and maimed several people. 120 teachers in public secondary schools in Ogun State have been invited by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to answer questions on a 200 million naira loan they allegedly took from one of the old generation banks since 2011. The loan has yet to be repaid. The will be quizzed on Monday at the Anti-Graft Agency's Lagos office. The teachers, most of who teach in secondary schools in Abeokuta South local government area of the state, allegedly obtained the 200 million naira loan from the bank since 2011 and defaulted in repayment. However, the teachers had denied ever taking any loan from the bank, arguing that majority of them had no account with the financial institution. They were said to have staged a peaceful protest on Friday to the head of service, Mrs. Modupe Adekunle, on the matter, stating that they would not honor the invitation by the Anti-Graft Agency. Adekunle was said to have held a meeting with the teachers' spokesman, Imam Noah Sodeinde, on the need for them to honor the EFCC invitation despite their claims of innocence. The United States has offered technical assistance and training for investigators and prosecutors to empower them to track and recover stolen monies from Nigeria. America pledged that it would ensure that no stolen funds are laundered through its banking system. The U.S. Ambassador James Nswisi, who said this during the 239th U.S. Independence celebration on Saturday in Abuja, also stated that his country would support the growth of the Nigerian power sector by assisting companies to build more electricity infrastructure, especially environmentally friendly power generation. The envoy said America had continued to maintain a robust engagement in Nigeria for many years, noting that the U.S. partnership with Nigeria runs deep. According to him, the two countries have over the years worked together on a host of issues on elections, security, the Niger Delta, fighting infectious disease, and inspiring broad-based inclusive economic growth, among others. In Iyemetro Ekiti, Kole local government area of Ekiti State, the dust raised over the alleged involvement of the traditional ruler of Iyemetro Ekiti in the illegal sale of land and economic trees is yet to settle as moves are on to depose the monarch. The monarch, Agbola Ogungbemi, who is accused of embezzling the community's funds, however, debunks the allegation, saying it's not true. He added that he had been using the personal fund to develop the town. Issue has, however, sparked a series of protests in the town. Rashid has more in this report. We do apologize, we cannot bring you that report immediately, but as soon as we sort it out, we'll bring it to you in our subsequent news bulletin. Pantaka is a popular market in Mpape community known for fully used household items. Furniture, electronic stoves, and many more are displayed freely by the roadside. Some see the market as a last hope for the common man, but there are others who fear that the items on display could be stolen goods. Pa Samo has more.
Pape community is a settlement within the federal capital city. The suburb that is surrounded by hills has over 4,000 houses of all sizes and shapes. For the residents, who are a mix of civil servants and the self-employed, survival is not just easy, so they have to put extra efforts to make ends meet. Panteka, a local market for fairly used household items, is quite popular here. Bashiru is 45 years old and he hails from Kano. He has been selling fairly used stoves for over 2 years in this market.
kuma muna siye a hannun waɗanda suke kakkawo mana to muna sai da shi kamar 800 naira dubu babba karami kuma muna sai da shi kamar 500.
This man sells used electronic switches. He buys them at the rate of 100 naira each with a view to selling at a higher price. But at the end, most of the switches don't function. He says he is into the business as a means of surviving the economic crunch.
Well, we are just managing because the lack of no money, things are not moving fine, but we just manage that. Well, sometimes we got it from maybe when they do demolition, so they bring those things for us. We used to buy from them and sell it just to cope up with the management of the life. Sometimes they will call us, then we go inside bank to buy from them to come here and sell. So that's why we know that it's not a stolen property.
Some customers who patronize the market say it is the only place left for the poor masses living in Pape. Nishak is one of them. He is here to buy an iron door. He says he prefers what he gets here than patronizing manufacturers.
The problem is the place where they live. That's why I go buy this door. The place where that land where I rent is, I tell I say the house no good. That's why I tell I say I want to repair. I say okay, make a repair. Anything one spend, make a tell us. I say okay. I do everything finish. That's why I come see this door. I buy 5,000. So that's why the carry is to go to my house. I want to put it. So the problem, and I see the one where I like. That's why I come this side. I go see the one where I like. I buy this one.
For people like Nishak, Panteka is a lifesaver, without which they won't be able to procure basic household items in a city reputed as one of the most expensive in the country. Pyre Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Meat is regarded as one of the nutritious and proteinous benefits of healthy living, while some others disagree. What exactly is your position? Olajumoke Latunji takes a look at this.
According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the livestock sector is one of the top 3 or 2 most significant contributors to the most serious environmental problems at every scale from local to global. As well as being responsible for a huge chunk of global greenhouse gas emissions, meat production requires increasingly unsustainable levels of precious resources, land, water and energy, and is a major contributor towards global environmental degradation. Nearly a third of all the land on Earth is usually used for livestock and feed production. So, with the world's population expected to reach 9 billion by 2050, raising enough animals to keep up with our current meat-heavy diets spells disaster for the planet. In fact, if everyone in the world ate so much meat as those in Western countries, we would need 4 to 5 more planets to sustain ourselves. Over the last 50 years, there has been a dramatic rise in the amount of meat that people are eating. There are also many people who automatically include meat in a meal, without considering other options. Reducing our meat consumption is health as well as environmental benefits. Research performed by Oxford University found that 45,000 lives a year would be saved by people reducing their meat intake. 31,000 from heart diseases, 9,000 from cancer, and 5,000 from stroke.
Of protein, and in this part of the world where we are, I think the major source of protein for the common man, as you rightly put it, is meat. Although there are so many other beautiful sources of protein, but meat is the common one and mainly understood as a source of protein. There's nothing wrong in taking meat, but like you rightly said, when at a particular age, it will be encouraged that, especially when you are getting to about 40, 50 years and above, it will be encouraged that you take less of meat consumption because of your heart. You see, because today we have a lot of problems all over the globe. People just collapse because of heart attack, cardiovascular problems. Now we see that as we age, the tendency is that our immune system seems to be slow.
And of course, eating less meat is also a compassionate choice. Over 60 billion animals are farmed and killed each year. The vast majority raised in crowded feedlots or intensive factory farms.
Of meat, yeah, 5 or 4. It's okay for me. Yeah, it's because just I like meat. That's the thing.
So you can't do without meat?
Yeah, I can't do without meat.
I don't believe in taking meat. I believe in taking fish because I grown up with fish.
Okay.
I grown up in a fish environment, so I grown up with it. Then I eat it. I don't depend on. I don't like at all. I don't like meat at all.
Every day is a problem. It causes a lot of worms, and it disturbs the head. So white fish is very good.
I shouldn't take more than one.
One. So you prefer fish or what?
I even prefer fish.
Skipping meat for one day a week is a small change which can make a big difference. It's positive, fun, healthy, and an easy way to make a meaningful contribution to a more sustainable future. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Welcome back. We'll take this break. Stay with us.
I'm going to have naked. That's a sign of protest, saying that things are not good.
Women share the most amazing thoughts.
When it's close to the time, our people will protest naked.
On national issues.
That was their own point. That was an accident. That is different.
And they do it.
Politics is about being a servant.
Passionately.
Without a woman, there will be no success at all.
Sharing the adorable word of women.
There are some women who have what it takes.
In politics.
Margaret Thatcher, Iron Lady. When she's too soft, she's too soft.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. Police in Italy has arrested a Moroccan suspected of promoting Islamic militancy. The country's security forces also disclosed on Monday that a broader police operation is underway in a town near the central city of Pisa. Like other European countries, Italy has stepped up surveillance of individuals suspected of supporting militants in Syria and Iraq after indications that some of its citizens have traveled to the region to fight. Just last week, 2 people suspected of plotting attacks in Italy and North Africa were arrested in Rome, and 5 others held in Italy and Albania for planning to join the group Islamic State. The top U.S. and Iranian diplomats met for a 6th consecutive day on Sunday to try to resolve obstacles to a nuclear accord, including when Iran would get sanctions relief and what advanced research and development it may pursue. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif are trying to meet a Tuesday deadline for a final deal under which Iran would crop its atomic work for more than a decade in exchange for sanctions relief. Kerry planned to provide an update on the talks at 4:30 p.m. outside the 19th Century Hotel where the talks were being held, a senior U.S. official said without providing details. While they have made some progress on the type of bilateral sanctions relief that Iran may receive, the two sides remain divided on such issues as lifting United Nations sanctions and on research and development using advanced centrifuge. The WikiLeaks website says it has evidence that a number of senior Brazilian government officials were routinely spied on by the National Security Agency in the United States. It says the NSA was particularly active in economic espionage against Brazil. WikiLeaks published a list of 29 phone numbers of Brazilians in banking, finance, and the economy. According to the website, the espionage apparently began in early 2011 or even earlier. President Dilma Rousseff cancelled a state visit to Washington 2 years ago when former CIA contractor Edwin Snowden revealed that her phones and emails were being spied on. But WikiLeaks editor-in-chief Julian Assange says American government eavesdropping practices have not been suspended. Assange has been given refuge in the Ecuador embassy in London since June 2012. He is fighting extradition to Sweden, where he faces charges of sexual offences against 2 women. He denies the charges and says they are political. And that's our news for this hour. Thank you so much for staying on with us. Please join us again. I am Gifts or Getting.